So maybe to get started, you can tell everybody like introduce yourself and like tell people what you do and like how your journey has been as a.
Right. Okay. So for starters, I actually so my parents actually. I grew up in a traditional middle-income, Chinese family, and my parents always asked me to get good grades, study hard, get a good job, and then live a comfortable life, right? So I followed that path. I graduated from uni. I found my first job, and I was working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for 2,400 ringgit. So whereas I felt like I got scammed by my parents, I felt horrible. I hated my life. It was miserable. So I started looking for inspiration and started looking for more things out there. There must be more to life than this, right? So I started reading some books, entrepreneurial books, and I stumbled upon this quote from Warren Buffett, and it's one of my favorite quotes. He says that, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. And that hit me really hard. I don't want to work until I die, right? I don't think any of you want to work until you die as well. So, and then I started joining some courses on e-commerce, and this was, 5-6 years back. And, I started learning, online marketing as well. And one day I decided to just take action after work, and I created an e-commerce store dropshipping female Korean fashion products, right? It's not really me, but I thought that it was a hot thing, and I tried building an e-commerce store. And I did not have any technical expertise whatsoever, so you don't actually need to be super tech savvy. And then I think about a week or two after I created that store, I made my first sale when I was sleeping. So I met my goal. I achieved my goal to make money while I sleep, right? But now's the time to scale it up. So I quit my job and I started multiple other online companies. Like I started scalping early bird tickets and to concerts and stuff and selling these things. I started drop shipping, gadgets, and then I went into vape. Right? Like you don't see many people vaping in Malaysia now. That's fine, because my company now ships to 120 countries worldwide, right? And most of the sales even happen when I'm sleeping. So I definitely reached a certain part of my goal already, and now I'm looking to create more things and help people succeed in e-commerce.
So like a lot of our attendees today in the house are like marketers themselves, and looking at all the things that they can do to leverage their skills in like 2019, say, what would you say is the most attractive reason right now at this point of time to start an e-commerce store?
I think there's not just one. The main one primarily being like e-commerce with all the automation that it can afford you nowadays. Like you can decouple. The most important thing is that it can decouple time from money. You'll be able to scale your revenue without putting in more time if you set up automation and stuff like that correctly. All you have to do is scale your marketing and your revenue will scale as well. So that's number one. And number two, because e-commerce, the reach is essentially global. Whoever has access to internet will be able to buy your product. It doesn't matter if you're in Brunei, if you're in Indonesia or Vietnam, you can reach customers worldwide. So that's another strong reason why you should start e-commerce right now.
Cool. So I had like previous experience with Lazada before, and so I was there during the early days, and I was hired to do SEO, but I was doing also packing and just putting things in the bin and so that it gets shipped out and all that. So when you talk about starting an e-commerce store, I imagine myself doing that. So I get orders and then immediately I need to take products from the rack and then put it in. How much of that do you do today versus when you were starting out?
When I was starting out,
or is it not like that? You just have people do it for you from the start?
Well, for the dropshipping business, I'm not sure if any of you knows what dropshipping is. So when just starting out, I didn't actually have to go through any of that because dropshipping is essentially having a ghost third-party supplier fulfilling your orders for you, right? So you don't have to do any of that fulfilling and packing. All you have to do is focus on marketing. But for the vape business, okay, we actually have an in-house operations team. So in the first and second year, I still do that sometimes, but I've gotten a team in to help run the show in that end. So I would say I pack orders once a year, maybe during Black Friday, because that's our biggest day in the whole year.
So like now in Malaysia we have Shopee, we have Lazada. Like, isn't the landscape too competitive? Because when you go onto Lazada today, for example, you can search for shoes or like even something rare like a foam roller or something. I see thousands of listings with merchants coming from China. Isn't the landscape too competitive right now, do you think?
I personally don't think so. I mean, competition is not necessarily a bad thing because competition just means that there's a big enough market to compete in, right? And if competition was a problem, like Facebook wouldn't be, would not dominate over like say MySpace or Friendster. So all you have to do, I think, is to just one up your competitors, provide more value, and be a better company essentially to compete in business. Because I know a lot of people on Lazada, they go up there, they set up a storefront, and then they just start price wars, and that's never gonna be profitable in the long run, right? If you want to build something sustainable and profitable in the long run, you want to create a brand and also focus on your brand storytelling, and that's not it's not so easy to do that on Lazada and Shopee because it's someone else's platform. It's not your own e-commerce store which you can control the entire brand experience in your store. So that's very important to me. So I don't think there's any source of concern actually if you craft a niche and have a unique selling proposition that Lazada and Shopee can't match.
Cool. So like we were speaking to Ashley earlier, and then I think one of the major blockers that's stopping people from becoming a speaker is probably their own self-confidence and like just presenting themselves to people. And with e-commerce, I think a lot of people here will have the question of like, where do I source for products? So I have this niche, and then like, how did you get started with that, like sourcing for products? Do you just cold call people or like?
No, not really. So when it comes to sourcing products, you want to participate in a niche or sell a product that you already have a prior skill set or prior knowledge in, so that you'll be able to add more value in that business, because you don't want to start something like that you have absolutely no clue about. Right?
So I shouldn't be selling female clothing, for example.
Correct. Yeah. So that was an experiment on my part, but I got to learn about e-commerce, right? So and you also want to be a bit more passionate about that product. You need to be quite passionate because starting out a business is never easy, and starting out is always the hardest part. So if you don't like what you're doing, you're gonna burn out really quickly and you're gonna give up very, very quickly as well. Yeah, so it's more about who you are, not what you sell. It's more about who you are. I mean, even as a speaker, like it's interesting that you brought up Ashley's topic, because I recently created an online course and it required me to speak in front of the camera a lot, and I was really uncomfortable with doing that. So practice makes perfect, so you just have to go out and do it.
What has been the most successful, or maybe your favorite marketing channel when it comes to like promoting your own e-commerce businesses?
Well, I'm glad that you asked this question because I like profitability and sustainability. So I didn't have any investment backing or anything like that, right? So I had to resort to doing a lot of inbound marketing, and it has grown, and these channels have grown to be, my favorites. Stuff like, SEO, content marketing, email marketing, all the retention stuff, and also, paid ads with inbound marketing in mind. with the inbound marketing mindset. So, and why? It's because for inbound marketing, the leads that come through inbound marketing channels have higher purchase intent and is usually warmer than just cold leads, right? And another reason that I like inbound marketing channels so much is because it requires a totally different mindset. So I came from a marketing background in a FMCG company, and they did a lot of stuff like billboards, TV ads, and stuff like that, and we can't really measure the ROI or the impact of these marketing channels, right? So inbound marketing essentially means creating a lot of marketing assets like content, like blog posts or videos that continue to drive you traffic over the next 5 to 6 years. It will diminish over time like accounting assets. Instead of completely relying on outbound marketing strategies, like if you turn off the budget for the TV ad, you stop showing your ad, So definitely inbound marketing. That will be my favorite.
Got it. So I think any businesses out there, in the e-commerce business, you have different pillars, I would assume. So you have the products, you have marketing, you have customer support, you have website design, you have the delivery, all these different pillars supporting that e-commerce business, right? I mean, if you can only pick one out of these as the most important element to make sure that your e-commerce business is a success, what would that be?
Okay, so in the long run, I really wouldn't recommend just picking one thing to focus on, because the whole thing needs to be very holistic and looking at the business. But if I had to put
because a lot of us here probably has a full-time job, so I'm asking on behalf of them as well. So you have started an e-commerce business today. What will be the most important factor?
Definitely marketing as well as website design, because one of my company's internal processes whenever we launch something new is we will create a landing page. We don't have the product ready, but we will be selling that product on the landing page, and we will create small marketing campaigns like paid ads and some PR just to drive traffic to that page, and then see how people respond.
So
right?
Pre-selling,
or just lead testing, just a landing page, sign up for when we launch, for example, or even pre-selling. So when Mula Boss just created an online course, we actually started a webinar selling the course that wasn't even ready yet. Yeah, but we did that for the purpose of testing out the idea, and also the funnel and the copywriting and the messaging and stuff like that. So definitely marketing and website design will be your first focus in the beginning, and that's just to validate the idea, and also minimizes your risk as well. You wouldn't have to put in so much effort in developing a product that no one wants. You're gonna remove that risk.
Let's talk about validating the market a little bit. So I read about lean startup and stuff as well, and they talk a lot about validating your ideas and stuff. But usually when you're trying to plan out a campaign to validate an idea, usually what comes immediately after that thought is okay, what if I decided not to do this? What do I do with existing orders? That how do you deal with that, or you just refund the money and just straightforward like that?
Well, I'm usually very firm on what I want to do for the next 2 to 3 years, for example, and I will build a landing page on that. And once I do that, if it takes off, I'm going to go all the way for the next 2 to 3 years, at least. Yeah, so I wouldn't, why would you, scrap the project when you're already getting sales?
Because it's validating, right? So what if there's demand, but not
enough? Yeah, then when that happens, I would just say sorry and issue a refund.
So it's no big deal. People don't get a fuss about it.
Not really. I mean, they get their money back, right?
Yeah. So I think if we get interested to start an e-commerce store today, we'll probably go online and start reading like all the tips and stuff that we can find online. What has been the most, I guess, what's the right word here? So, is there any tip that you found to be untrue or like false after you've gone through the e-commerce journey yourself?
So, I think one of the most important things, I see a lot of online gurus talk about this, is that you need to build your business on Amazon, on Lazada, or Shopee, basically on marketplaces. So I personally disagree with this because when you sell, when your business completely relies on marketplaces, like Udemy, like for any sort of product, right? They have control over your business. You will lose control. You might bring in short-term sales and stuff like that, but you're always at the mercy of marketplaces. What if I don't want to be in a situation where, you know, if Lazada sends me an email, if I'm selling 200,000 ringgit worth of products on Lazada, for example, I don't want to receive an email from them saying, hey Jeremy, we noticed that you're doing really well, we're going to increase your commissions and charge you more, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I would really strongly recommend against building your entire e-commerce business on Lazada and Shopee and Amazon, because it may sound easy, but in the long run you will lose sustainability, you will lose control over your fulfillment processes and data as well. Like they own all the data, you don't get.
So they don't share anything with you, just customer.
They share, but you know they're not completely transparent as you would, you know, if you could analyze your own website's traffic, it would be so much better, right? Yeah. So instead, guys, I want you guys to consider stealing traffic from marketplaces instead. I don't know if are there any Lazada and Shopee, you know, employees here.
We're all talking about secrets here.
But steal traffic from them. You know, if you need to fulfill something, if you made a sale on Shopee, ship it with your own box with a thank you card or a discount code, and ask people to buy on your store for a discount, for example. And train them to buy from your store, buy your products from your store instead of on a marketplace only.
Okay, so we're gonna. So do you guys, any of you have questions for Jeremy about starting an e-commerce business?
Hi Jeremy.
Hello.
So you mentioned something about drop shipping, right?
Yep.
So basically, the supplier is sent through e-packet or.
So more commonly, a lot of people think that dropshipping, you dropship from China, from AliExpress and stuff, right? Personally, I like to dropship within the US or Europe and find local suppliers there. And I mean, you can start a dropshipping business from China, but that's what everyone is doing. It's always competing on price, not so much on product quality, you know, not so much on, you know, fast shipping. So I prefer to charge a higher price, like drop shipping locally, like from within US to US, so that you can, you know, maintain customer service as well. Because if something is shipped from the US to the US, it's going to take a day or two, but from China it's going to take 14 days. And you wouldn't be able to, you know, build a strong relationship with your customers if what I'm saying makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to ask, what is your take on developing the website from scratch using code versus leveraging on platforms like do-it-yourself, like for example Spark or Elementor and WordPress? What is the pros and cons in developing hard-coded or just leveraging the design?
I mean, if you're going to start from scratch, you better have a lot of financial backing, because that's going to be very, very expensive. It will cost at least 20 to 30,000 ringgit to build a custom website from scratch. I would really suggest that you use a e-commerce platform like Shopify. All my businesses are run on Shopify, by the way. I'm a big fan. And what you do, so the pros and cons of, you know, building a custom coded website is that, of course, you get to save on third-party software, but you will need a developer to come on board to help you manage your entire website. and at least one developer. You might need more depending on your business. But if you're just starting out, go use a free solution like WordPress. I started with WordPress. I didn't have a dedicated developer. I've never had a dedicated developer actually. And right now on Shopify, it's going to be so much easier. Yeah. So, and Shopify is a bit pricey. You pay month on month, but you don't need a developer to help you, make sure everything is smooth.
Any questions from that side? Okay.
I actually have two questions. The first one is, you said you didn't start with any technical background. So I wanted to ask, what is the focus when you first wanted to do e-commerce? Did you have to learn web development? Did you have to learn about the payment gateways, the security? And then the second question is related to you saying that don't depend too much on marketplace and do your own. But isn't that a challenge in convincing people that your site is not a scam? Because now there's so many websites out there. How do you convince a user that you're legit, that you're not just trying to take the money and then it's just
So let's start off with the first question first. The first question was, did I have to, learn a lot about web development and stuff, right? So I did have to learn a little bit, but most of the time I just use third-party software, to just plug into a website and then see if it works or not, right? So especially on WordPress, because WordPress is a bit funky, I don't know why, but ever since I changed to Shopify, even you don't need any technical background to build an e-commerce store on Shopify. So I have a friend, she runs a bath bomb shop. Like, she doesn't know any coding, but she has an e-commerce store ready to go. I think she spent less than 1,000 ringgit in total. And I had to learn this because 5 years ago we didn't have Shopify. Shopify was just like this. It's not big at all. So I didn't hear about that. Right? So for the second question, you think that, why... What was your second question again? I'm sorry. Got it. So in terms of e-commerce, of course, building trust is definitely one of the main focuses. You will need, reviews. You will need user-generated content for people to tag you, on Instagram and stuff like that to look legit. But for starters, you could always start off with using a high security payment gateway such as PayPal. If people don't receive the products, they can dispute to get a refund, for example. So it's a process. It's definitely a challenge. So great question. But there are things that you can do to make your site look legit, like SSL certificate, putting your face out there, like going to newspapers and getting interviewed, creating content about the founder, so that they know who's behind this company, at least, just to give it a bit more authenticity and genuineness, and that will help conversion rates. I hope that answers your question.
Any other questions for Jeremy? A lot of questions.
Hi.
Hello.
I wanted to ask you, what were the things that you did wrong when you were starting off your e-commerce business, and how did you handle it?
A lot of things. There's too many things that I did wrong. So, let me think. That's a great question. Can you add me on LinkedIn or something? And then I'll get back to you. I can't answer that question now. Sorry.
Anybody else has questions for Jeremy? Can you pass the mic over there?
Hello, I'm Michael and I'm working in a company called New Polish in China. And actually, more than 90% of the sales is coming from Keynote and Taobao in China. And do you think that Lazada will be the next Keynote in Malaysia?
Definitely. I think Lazada and Shopee is going.
Would you mind tell me why you think Lazada will be the next thing, like just like Keynote or Taobao in China?
I mean, I think that most people shop on marketplaces now because, you know, they're really pushing really hard for penetration. You know, anyone who's on the internet is probably buying from Lazada now. And my dad, he's 63 years old, and he used to walk out to the bank to make bank transfers instead of using Maybank to you. So he's really old school, but right now at the dinner table he's telling me, you know, Lazada has this for cheaper than Shopee. Shopee has this for cheaper than Lazada. Why don't you buy it from them? So I think marketplaces is definitely not going away. It's definitely going to grow further, but there is that room for players in niches, in specific niches like vape or Korean fashion to prosper as well as, you know, e-commerce penetration increases. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes.
We'll take one more question.
Okay. You know, like how Zalora and Lazada, you know, when you first sign up, you actually have like 50% off and those kind of stuff. What does Mula Boss actually offers to people who actually want to check out on your own?
Oh, we do that too, man. Like, we do give out 15% discount for first-time buyers and stuff like that.
Yeah, but what makes Mula Boss special compared to others that you think will attract other customers and still other customers from example Lazada or Zalora?
Okay, so the thing here is with Lazada, it's like a hypermarket in Giant, for example, or Tesco. They sell a ton of all kinds of shit, right? But my store is specialized on vape, for example, or healing crystals. So if someone wants to come here, like we know vapors well. Our brand means that we know vapors well, and that we will provide the best service to vapors. That is something that Lazada cannot do, right? And Lazada used to be one of our biggest competitors locally, selling vape juices, but we, you know, climbed way above them in terms of search engine, in terms of Google, because we place a lot more focus on just the vape industry. So we don't intend to take the whole pie like Lazada and Shopee, like selling all kinds of shit. We focus and, you know, expand from there. So we want to focus on a single target audience rather than just the general public.
Okay, but regarding the vape, you know how like the government has implemented the new rule, right? What makes you think that your company can actually still look, like what you say, you actually look forward 3 to 5 years ahead? But regarding the new rule, what do you think, what will happen to your own company now, since you only focus on the primary market regarding vapes?
Actually, we have other products. Vape is only one of them. We use that same business model to create, you know, healing. We sell healing crystals online as well, chakra healing crystals. Yeah. We also sell educational courses, digital courses like Mindvalley, trying to learn from the best, right? So we're not particularly worried about what the government has said, because like they say but they don't do, you know. And our business, we don't sell, like 1% of our sales is within Malaysia. We ship 99% of our revenue actually is overseas, and they don't give a shit about exporting so much.
Thank you.
So give it up for Jeremy.
Thank you.
So before you leave, I'm sure some of them want to reach out to you as well. So maybe you can just share with them more about Mula Boss and how they can just get in touch with you if they want to learn more about starting their own e-commerce store.
Okay, so now every week I work for about 3 to 4 hours, so I have a lot of free time. And in 2019, my resolution is to help more people succeed in e-commerce, and that's why I started Mula Boss. It's a very, very new company. If you go check out our Instagram without the H, we have 100 followers now. It's pathetic, but we're just starting to to do the marketing for this business. So essentially what we do is we create free and paid educational content for people who want to, improve in e-commerce. They have an existing business, they want to take it online, they want to take it to the next level. We have, come look for us, okay? You can also, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm not hard to find. My face is quite unique. And add me on Facebook as well. I'm not very hard to find, okay?
Jeremy, also a very generic Chinese name, right? Cool. Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks for sharing your insights with us.
So, what do you think of Jeremy's speech?
It was a very brief session, but I think in that very brief period of time, I learned so much from him because I think coming from a small business owner, I would say the biggest fear is the initial startup phase. So listening to comments and experiences from a person who started off from the same place that I am in right now was very comforting and very encouraging for a business owner. And like she said, we also plan to venture into e-commerce, and I'm really looking forward to learn from Jeremy also through his webinar that he has launched in Mula Boss. So I think it was such an honor to meet him today.
Yeah, I think he's a very friendly guy, and then he's willing to teach. Okay, so he gave us a lot of knowledge, encouraging us to start our own new e-commerce business. Well, actually a lot of things, because like before we start, right? Okay, we don't even know what direction to go. Okay, we don't even know which platform we should use. Okay, and what is actually the strategy or are the strategies to move on. And then from his speech, I think we actually find I wouldn't say a good direction, a very clear direction, but then we know where we should start.